What's up, YouTube? I have to tell you, one of my favorite things about this hobby is I love finding new ways to give old hardware a second life. And this project does exactly that. This Game Boy Advance has definitely seen better days. It's scratched, worn, cosmetically rough, and battery doors missing, but it still works perfectly. So instead of letting it collect dust in a drawer, we're gonna turn it into something completely different. Using the INTEC Gaming GBA HDMI kit, we're going to transform this original Game Boy Advance into a dedicated HDMI console that you can play right from your TV. The best part is this entire installation requires zero soldering. No soldering iron, no tiny wires, no crazy advanced electronic skills, just a few basic tools and a little patience. By the end of this video, we'll have an original Nintendo Game Boy Advance running original cartridges all over HDMI, and I'll show you every step of the installation along the way. Let's open up this kit and see what comes inside. Documentation on our process. We've got the shell that's gonna hold everything. And man, it's good quality too. It feels good. Looks like we can do a conversion here on the board from 16:9 to 4:3. That's kind of awesome. Sure, we'll get into that here in a bit. And then this is the brains behind it all. This is the motherboard that's going to take our Game Boy Advance and convert it into an HDMI signal, and also takes an SNES controller input. It has functionality and capabilities for wireless controllers as well. So you can sync up wireless and Bluetooth controllers. One of the things I do like about this kit is it comes with this replacement board that you can actually put inside your old Game Boy Advance shell. So this sets up inside here and basically turns your old Game Boy Advance shell into a controller that you can plug in via the SNES port on the front. I'm not sure that I'm gonna do that with this one because this one is so busted up, but maybe I'll take one of my new style shells and we'll set up a nice looking controller to play with. The kit comes with an HDMI cable, video output cable. This is the cable that you'll use with this board if you want to turn your old Game Boy Advance case into a controller. This is the cable you use for that. A USB-A to USB-C cable. Tools, all the tools you need to get into your console, and all the hardware necessary for putting this thing together. It's a really well put together kit. The first thing we need to do is tear down the Game Boy Advance. We need to get the basically the main PCB out of here so that we can get it installed into our new system. So I'm gonna use all the tools that come with the kit just to kind of see how they act. Sometimes you get these screwdriver pack-ins and they're not very good. So I kind of want to see how these go. And so far, so good. Once we have the back shell off, we need to disconnect the screen ribbon cable, and we got to remove these two Phillips screws to separate the board from the case. So something we'll get into here in a moment. Game Boy Advances were built with two different types of screen inputs. The ribbon cable could either be a 32-pin cable or a 40-pin cable. You can see it's labeled right here on the circuit board. So this one that I'm working with is a 32-pin cable. This kit supports both. I'll use the 32-pin cable, not the 40-pin cable that came with the kit. But one of the things that they do strongly recommend is that you take the eraser that came in with the kit and you go over all of your pads that are here. And what an eraser does is help basically polish out. I mean, you can kind of see the difference. Let's see if I can catch it in the light. So I did the button on the left, but not the one on the right. So I'm not sure if that'll come through on camera, but you know, in person, you can definitely tell that it's been polished out and there's a little bit of oxidation that's not there that was there a second ago. Just kind of, you know, you don't have to be too forceful. Just kind of softly polish everything that's on there. And then you can kind of see we're able to clean up some of the stuff that was on there. We're going to do the same thing to all the other points over here. Because this is a no solder board, the two halves basically mate together and contact is made. So you don't want any oxidation or corrosion on these pads that could stop good contact from being made. All right, and once that's done, I'm gonna take a little bit of alcohol and kind of go over the entire board and get everything nice and clean. Take a look at your capacitors and things like that too. If they look bad, this might be a good time to look at maybe replacing those. With everything out and everything cleaned, we can get ready to mate the two boards together. So like I said before, I have the 32 pin, so I'm going to use the smaller cable here. You want to install it with these gold contact points facing upward. So just slide it in there and then close the bail locks, like the locking clips, down. And get that locked into place. Now you take the motherboard that came out of the kit, and here are your two connections for the 40 pin here, the 32 pin here. So this locking mechanism just tilts up, and we want to, without bending the cable or anything, we just want to go ahead and install it here and then lock that clip down into place. And you'll feel it seat into place here when everything's lined up correctly. And then you can just fold this clip down, and now they're joined as one unit.
Hey, does anyone want to see my unit?
Once you have that straight, take the whole thing and flip it over. And you can see here, these contact points are where those contact points are going to meet here on the case, which is why we just spent all that time cleaning everything up. One thing to be sure of when you're right here in this state, so once you have everything flipped over, so you want to make sure your power switch is on, which is here in the right position over on this side. So this would be off, this is on. And then you also want to make sure your volume is turned all the way up, which is basically taking this thumb wheel and going all the way to the right and getting it set up. Making sure those two things are done are gonna save us a little bit of trouble later. So now at this point, we can flip over the board, set everything in, and get everything lined up to screw down and get positioned properly. In the kit, we use the screws that are labeled A. And you can tell where they go. This one here has like an X on it. We go right here at that point. Don't want to tighten it all the way down until we get the other side started. And then the other side is indicated right here. That's where your other one's gonna go. Doesn't need to be too tight, just a decent amount of pressure to hold everything in place. And that's it. Now we have both sides mounted. Now, if you didn't turn everything up in this orientation, you can see on and off. So we want to switch over to on. And then you can see your volume wheel here. Make sure it's just all the way up, turned up like this. All right, now we need to take the shell. So we're going to flip the top part of the shell over here. We're going to install. We want to put in the two buttons, the push buttons for the top. I believe they are keyed. So one has 3 pins, one has more. So that one goes in there. And then this one goes in here. So it finds its place. And then we can set in port here. So we got to kind of watch those front ports there. Want to make sure all that's lined up. Leaning it down, you know, sort of getting a good angle in there, and then sort of rolling it back is what gets everything lined up properly. And kind of just work it around so you feel everything in place, which that does feel right. It's good. And then we're going to use the screws from B to attach all of this assembly together. And the B screws are going to go in 3 places. They're going to be here, here, and here. So basically through the motherboard into those 3 points there. So all attached and good to go. So down in here is the aspect ratio switch. So this aspect ratio switch lines up with a tab right there on the motherboard. You can see where that gray slot and the black tab sort of mate together. What you want to do is once you get everything sort of secured in, make sure you have free movement here to make sure everything's lined up and nothing's binding or anything like that. Also the buttons on the front, you know, making sure that you can, you know, you feel a good response from that is good. On switch is on, volume's all the way up. All right, now that everything is together and kind of in place, you could have done this sooner, but I'm gonna remove the speaker. You have to take it out of the case. So I'm just using some flush cutters to remove that. And that's kind of what we got. That's got us all set up. So now again, verifying the power switch is on and the volume's all the way up. We can go ahead and put the back cover on. Line everything up properly. It's looking good. And then we're going to use the screws from C, bag C, and put them together. Getting all 4 started, and then we can make sure it's seated down correctly and everything's lined up. All right, and there you have it. Fully assembled, everything still moves kind of freely. Power and HDMI is all lined up. Your external interface is lined up. And let's make sure a game goes in. Boom. The optional part of this kit comes with this board, and this is actually pretty awesome. I'm actually a really big fan of this. It's this board that you can install and convert your housing with the screen back to basically just being a controller. It comes with the cable and the motherboard and everything you need to do to set it up. So to do that, it comes with new sets of membranes. So we're going to use those as well. So we'll get those installed. And then a new start and select button. This kit really, for its price, it's pretty good. It's pretty all-inclusive, and the construction quality is really great so far. I'm a fan. And then we can install this here. And we'll take the 2 screws that were originally in the case. For the original motherboard, it lines up and uses the same mounting holes. Everything lined up like that. We can take the cable that came with it, and the cable plugs in right here. And this fits right in the same part where the external port is for the Game Boy Advance. Man, that's just, they did a really good job. Very, very good job.
Good job.
And then we can just put the back half together. Now, when you do this, you know, you're probably better off using a much cleaner case than what I'm doing here. But I just wanted to show you guys kind of the assembly process and sort of show you what all went into putting it together. Okay, I think that goes that way. Yeah. So there's 2 ways to do it. The way that has that line there, that'll block the second part of the case going over, but then that groove, it actually sits right in that groove. So I installed it backwards the first time, so you don't make that mistake. It goes right in there. Then everything should line up. Yep, and snap together like that. Man, that's awesome. All right, there you have it. That's you know, it is a great idea. It's pretty awesome, and it's very straightforward to put together. Not too shabby, but to be perfectly honest, I probably wouldn't use this shell. I mean, obviously this shell's a little beat up. And I assume probably the ones that you're going to use to do this are probably a little beat up because you'd want to keep your handhelds in a good spot. But if you want to, it's a cool way not to waste anything. And that's what we're all about. I love bringing stuff back to life. And so this concept was actually really cool. However, with that said, I think I'm going to set it aside and I'm going to use a Super Nintendo controller for our testing, which is coming up right now. Here's everything put together, and let me give you a couple tips. First off, these feet go on the bottom after you get everything screwed together. Don't put them on just yet because this is a solderless case. Those pins need to be lined up correctly. And there might need to be some micro adjustments to the board and the motherboard where they made together, or to the case fitment and things like that. So until you've tested everything and you know everything works, don't stick those feet on. Save that for very last. Also, if you do need to make any sort of adjustments, it's totally fine. Pop this bottom off, and those 2 screws that hold the main board together, you can loosen those a little bit and sort of just slightly shift things around to get everything where it needs to be. And then make sure those screws are tight. Don't over torque them, but make sure it's a snug fit so that those spring-loaded pins that are making contact to the Game Boy Advance motherboard are actually making good contact. All right, I think we're set up and we're ready to go here. I guess we'll see if we got everything. I went ahead and plugged in the our homemade controller, which you know, the concept, it's growing on me. Okay, it's slowly growing on me. I'm going to keep I'm gonna keep 4:3 ratio for now. We'll test a little bit in 16:9. Nice. All right, so this is kind of cool. There's actually an LED there taking the place, so I guess on that board, taking the place of, and you know, I guess it's, you know, it is kind of cool. It is pretty awesome. Maybe we'll end up running this a little bit. Let's get into a game here. Of course, I picked the longest, you know, load into a game ever, but oh yeah. Oh, that's very cool. I gotta get a better test game, I think. But oh man, that is working great. Okay, now let's see. Can I switch to 16:9 live, or is it gonna make me reset? Nope, it does it live. Man, that's great. Okay, so you know, obviously we're getting a little bit of a skewed view from my capture device here, but the widescreen's not bad. The 16:9 ratio is really not bad at all. Yeah, it looks like that's working pretty good. That is pretty awesome. And that's gonna wrap up this build. I have to say, I'm really impressed with what INTEC has put together here. Taking an old, worn out Game Boy Advance and giving it a completely new purpose without soldering a single connection is something I think a lot of people can get behind. If you found this guide helpful, I'd appreciate if you give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It goes a long way in supporting the channel and helps get content like this out there to other modders just like you. If you're interested in building one of these for yourself, I've included Amazon affiliate links to both the orange and blue versions of the kit in the description below. These are affiliate links, so they don't cost you anything extra, but I do earn a small commission if you purchase through them. It really helps support the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next project.